Hey, Cancer. All right. So, happy birthday again. I'm starting something new this month for everyone who would like to have more insight into what's going on, but they can't afford to get a reading because it's just too expensive. And so, what I've come up with is this form of an extended reading, so you still get your reading. And then, if you would like more clarity on something, for example, that's really going to be affecting your sign, like for you guys, that would be the cardinal cross, then you can just like buy the extra video. It's going to be like $3 or $4. I haven't decided yet. But the reason I haven't decided yet is because for you guys and for whoever's birthday it is that month, their extended reading will be free. And then I guess if other people want to have a look at yours, they can and see if they would like the same thing for their sign. But for whoever's birthday it is, their reading will be extended because that second reading will be included. When we get to the second part of the reading, I'll show you my notes. And for every sign, I make specific, not like a chart, you'll see what it is, and it depends on what's going on for you that month and what needs to be looked at. It gives me a visual, and I'll be sharing that with you. But also, after the cards are on the table for our general, then I'll be going back in on certain cards and shuffling more and getting more cards on certain ones just to gain more insight, which is kind of how I read for myself. It is how I read for myself. So it's insightful for many reasons. And, you know, the way my mom put it, because I was telling her, like, a lot of people would really like more clarity on what's going on, but they really just can't afford, to get a reading. And she was like, well, do something extended that everyone can afford. So that way, people still feel like they're getting the guidance they need and you're still valuing your craft. And she's really big on that. She's an Aries. That ties into your cardinal cross energy. So let's talk about it. First card up is the Empress card. All right, so let's look at her. And then I'll tell you about how she ties in kind of perfectly with what's going on for you guys this month. This month is tricky emotionally because a lot of what's going on, it has to do with this Libra energy. And that can be jarring for you because Libras weigh things out differently than you do. Your weighing things out is really about how you feel about something and how that thing makes you feel. But this Libra energy is placed in a certain house for you, okay? So it's placed here in your fourth house, which means that it's about how you value you. How do you see you, right? Because this then is going to reflect on where that cardinal cross is going, which is how other people see you. But this is a great card to have first because it is your biggest battle this month, and in some ways always. When you have the capacity to be compassionate and love even those who don't love you back, there is a tendency to feel diminished in value, isn't there? Because your heart is so open. Now, there's also going to be a push on the part of some of you to need to get away from certain people so you can find this value in yourself. Perhaps you're surrounded by people who won't let this energy blossom in you because it would rob them of their power or their control over you. All right, so I'll show you these. At bottom of the deck so far is that Libra energy we were talking about. It really is coloring, these two cards together are very much what starts off this month for you as being emotionally difficult. Now, let's see, these cards fell out all together, so I'll show them to you together and then I'll lay them out. All right, we have the Ten of Swords and the Three of Wands, and then the Six of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, another card of value, and the Hermit card. So I'm sorry to tell you that if you are still dealing with that Virgo, you're still dealing with that Virgo. And that speaks directly to value, okay? So it's complicated. It's complicated because you see how these three cards come up together? It's almost like you have to leave this situation before you can find your value, but every time you leave the situation, it's like he or she comes back. And the circular, the circularity of it, that teacups feeling that I was talking about last month when we were talking in the Capricorn reading about how it can be really exhausting to watch water signs deal with their emotions, because it can be like watching people on the teacups. It can make you nauseous with its circularity. And here, you find the effects of that circular relationship where you're desperate to find a way out of, if not a toxic relationship with one particular person, a toxic relationship with your own sense of value, and not being able to get away from this sense of personal grief. The grief that sets in on a person when they really don't feel like they're worth anything. And this does also speak to how unstable Cancerians can appear from the outside, because they do feel this depth of pain when they feel like they're inadequate, when you feel like you're not enough. And when do we feel like we're not enough? Well, let's look at these cards, okay? These are both cards. I'll show you my notes in a little bit. These are both cards of leaving. But they're different cards of leaving, okay? This is a card of being really excited about where you're going and having a plan. And that's exactly what Cancer does when the sun is in the first house. When the sun is in your house, the first house meaning your house, where your journey begins. So as a Cancer, your journey begins in your first house, which is Cancer, okay? And what happens when the sun is in your house? You start thinking like this. No judgment on what's left behind, it's all good. But you are now looking forward at a different life. Now, you can reach this road through many paths, but I feel that the way that Cancer gets here now, within the first 5 or 6 days of July, is by hook or crook, by either realizing on a profound level that they're too good for a situation and they've been kidding themselves, you've been kidding yourself, or by realizing that the situation is too painful and the hurt associated with it has just been too much and it's built up on you too much. You know how as Cancerians we can do this thing, as you guys as Cancerians, me as a Cancer rising, we can do this thing where we can shut our pain out and have like an outburst and then act like it didn't exist, but then inside it eats and eats and eats and builds and builds and builds, and soon you feel this overwhelming sense of pain and betrayal and loss and sadness and draining out, and it kind of hits you all at once. You may have also gotten here to this sense of empowered, where am I going? I want to start thinking about where I'm going, and I want to actually take the action and go. It's a super positive sequence, right? You may have also gotten here from the road of thinking that you were super, super, super amazing. and that you were doing everything right, and that you were, you know, at the paragon of your attractiveness or your accomplishment. You may have felt like really that you had things handled, and then everything fell apart. Whether it was because you found out that you were betrayed, or because you found out that there was an element within you that was betraying you. Because this could just as easily be you giving yourself some false sense of purpose, or a false sense of security and solidity of self, and then kind of crashing, you know, because it's almost manic, because you can't sustain it. And so we find ourselves in many, many different up and down ways that have to do with value and betrayal and hurt. We kind of stumble blindly into the Three of Wands energy. And the Three of Wands is always a really optimistic card, because this person only needs one more wand to have something very stable, and they're not waiting around for it. And they're not like the Nine of Wands, the guy who's blind to all those different posts that he could do anything with. This person is really focused on what they want to go get, which is the fourth wand. They are not distracted by anything. And they're certainly not distracted. Now, who is the Empress? The Empress, by her nature, is someone who has an emperor. Okay? This is someone who is sick of and not distracted by either of these lures, be it a toxic, you know, relationship situation that wants to keep you here, or a toxic event that happened, or a betrayal from friends, or a relationship or something that Cancer can't get out of their minds and still, you know, bites at them every time they think about it. Whatever it is, however you got here, now you're more than ready to create a new foundation. All you need is that one more rod, right? So to create a new foundation, and instead of, like I said, waiting on it and hoping for another wand to come along, or being, you know, passively receptive of it, and just, you know, passively receptive, I'm sorry, that's redundant. Being receptive and, you know, being patient and waiting for it. Instead, we have this Six of Swords energy. So let's take a look again at the Six of Swords card. This person is not seeming quite all that happy about having to leave. It's certainly not a celebration. They're certainly taking home a lot of swords and a lot of things to think about. And yet it's very clear from the image that you must now move on, right? You must move on from whatever situation it is that's keeping your sense of value from you. Here's another card of value. So starting here and then going here, you know, reiterate it again. Here is the cycle, and here on both sides of you is the opportunity to do away with that cycle and really come into your own. But also what it's saying is leaving behind what other people want you to do, what other people want you to look like, leaving all of that behind. Leaving behind the need for anyone's approval. You step into this place of power. You implement that power by doing stuff with it, being proactive and taking a decision, and then you find your value. And then you find real value. Now, once you get to that point, don't be surprised if you also start to feel a little more like a hermit, because Cancerians who are really in tune with their value can be a bit elusive and hard to get a hold of, because they know how precious they are, and they don't want to waste their energy or their insight and light on just anyone. You know, when we get to this place of a really serene acceptance of how valuable we are when we are here, to find yourself here. Because once you realize that you have an enormous amount of value, then the world doesn't seem all that necessary because you're not actively seeking its approval. Now, this card has everything to do with how Aries is seated in your chart this month too, because that's about not a metaphysical value, but more of a, how people regard you, the value of how people see you, the value of your reputation, the value of who you are in the real world, and then somehow informing the value of what you are in the astral world, or in the world of energy. So coming up as a master of the world of energy, a master of the world of nurturing and giving and growing and feeding and being the mother, right? Coming up as someone who is very, very self-possessed and able to sit quietly with that, and really know that they did the right thing by escaping whatever situation it was that was making you question who you were, how important you were. The Empress also, being an earth sign card, also speaks to, the Empress has rules. You can't just come near the Empress whenever you want. The Emperor, what a great outcome card, huh? The Empress has rules. She's not just, sitting there waiting for you to come by. You have to follow certain protocol to even be near her. Isn't that right? You can't just walk up to her. So what is that? That's that Capricorn energy, that earth sign energy being highlighted in your cardinal cross. And what that energy is always saying is you've got to draw some boundaries with people. Okay. So the first outcome card is the World card. I want to kind of shuffle and see if a few more come up, but I'm pretty sure that's the one, but let's see. So, if this is where you are right now, what do you do? How do you get the past powerful you that you used to be back before whatever happened, before the rejection, before the hurt, before the everything? Right? And I think what the World card here is saying is, well, you've already got that. The World card is saying is that you can heal what you want about yourself right now because the whole world is accessible to you. You're carrying all this energy. You've got the cardinal cross going on. You're carrying all this energy of manifestation. It's very busy. And it's easy to turn off the feelings and put on a show, right? And it's easy to go into your shell and be a hermit crab. It's easy to do that too. And yet in between is that Libra balance that we're looking for, that's really informing your chart, where you can be both of these things, because of course as a Cancer you're capable, but do you feel like it? Do you want to? All right, let's see. 5 of Pentacles, the Fool, the Tower, Ace of Cups, 5 of Wands, and 9 of Swords. All right. Okay. So I think I understand what's happening here. All right. So we've got this World card here, right? And it's kind of telling you that no matter how bad of a cycle you've gotten stuck in, you've still got this open door to whatever you'd like to be able to manifest right now. Okay? And the more you get clear on your value as a person, the easier it's going to be for these doors to open and for this energy of this card to work for you. Now, what I also see here is that a lot of you may feel that you can't find that value in yourself unless you're in a relationship or unless you're in a situation where you don't feel alone, because those aren't necessarily the same thing. But Cancer hates being alone. Right? How much pain are you causing yourself because you're putting this artificial limitation on yourself of what it should be and how it should look, when you're only finding value here? How do you expect someone else to find value for you? And then the Fool card. So to get the Fool and the World in the same reading is really, really lucky. And I know that that's the case for you guys for the rest of the year. You will be really lucky because I feel like you're being asked to do the universe's work. I think part of doing the universe's work is building your self-esteem. But it seems like none of this can happen before there's some big reappraisal of the situation. Looks like a situation from the past. Probably this Virgo, probably the Earth sign. Looks like a situation, or, again, the Hermit, because it is associated with the Virgo card, is that come and go energy. Could be an Aries, could be a Libra. You just don't know what's going on. And I think that that situation is going to somehow, explode, because there's too much pressure being put on it. Because there's a certain thing that's wanted, and it takes bravery to look past it. Bravery to look past what we've been conditioned and taught to believe is success, and that our sign tells us over and over again is what we need, which is connection and love and all that. But that may be the road to your upset right now. You may need to first understand and have that really jarring realization that perhaps this dream you have isn't exactly your dream. It's just something you really thought you wanted, but it's not what you want. And I think it's in that moment that you will have that epiphany, and then you will come across someone that just makes you really love. A situation where love just comes out of nowhere and is like, hey, how about we hang out together? And your natural tendency here may very well be to stay in the argumentative energy or in the sad energy if you're here. I often say, Cancer, that out of these two cards, I'd rather have this one than this one. Because this guy's dead, 5 fine. But this woman is in absolute misery and checking her phone every 5 minutes and, you know, all of that. This energy can get addictive. This energy can be something that we slip into and it's hard to get out of. And this energy also makes us very argumentative because we feel slighted, because we feel insecure. You know, if you've got this situation going on, then for sure, you know, it's going to cause upset and pain and fighting. You know, we don't want to regress. We don't want to regress from having a lot of swords in our back to just having one less sword. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to let go of the sadness, right? By finding out how you feel about this person instead of just wondering how they feel about you. How you feel about you instead of just wondering how they value you. How you take risks and follow your heart and do things because you want to. All right, so now let's do, what I would do here is I would end the reading, and I guess it was like 15 minutes before the camera froze, and now it's like 11 minutes, so it'll be about a half an hour. And so now this part from next month for you guys, you know, the video will end here, and this next part you could buy. And what I would do first of all is I would go in and clarify the Hermit, because the Hermit and the Earth sign card just comes up so much for you guys. Like, it's either that Virgo energy that just won't let you go, you know, that Earth sign, obsessive Earth sign energy that neither one of you, you know, not that person and not you, can't stay away, or it really is about your illumination. Well, that doesn't really clear things up because someone keeping you in a hangman situation can, okay, I see. Someone keeping you in a hangman situation can bring you illumination. We must remember that the Hanged Man card is a card of a certain type of illumination that can only be reached by hanging upside down. That's why he's got a halo. There are many ways to learn things, but some things can only be learned by staying very, very still and observing. And so the Hangman so far informs the Hermit card. So a situation that is really about teaching you patience, patience with yourself, patience for other people. And also these are both cards of contemplation. So someone really figuring out who they are. You know, and that happens to you guys around your birthday, even though to some people that may seem silly, like, oh, every year you reevaluate who you are. Yeah, I think Cancers take pretty good stock of who they are. And I think it's because you can be so self-reflective, you can be so self-aware. And that can make you very shy and very, you know, wanting to stay still. But I think because of the way this is coming up, I think this Hermit hiding away kind of idea also has to do, there you go, with this recurring pain, you know, and the recurring pain having to do with this relationship that won't let up, that won't let you breathe. You know, King of Pentacles, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So these, I'm glad I'm doing this one first so you guys, you know, don't have to pay anything for it and you can see how it is, because you may hate this because it can get a little messy. But, like, I'll walk you through it. You know, I can be very like my Virgo moon. I'll keep it as neat as I can. But it can be messy because the cards come up like this, you know? And it's because, like, once you get the cards going, they have a lot to say. It's just, it would make for, like, very complicated, very long readings, and it takes a lot out of me. So let me show you these cards. And then we'll go from there. 7 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, 4 of Cups, the Emperor, 4 of Swords, 5 of Cups. Okay. The Judgment card, Queen of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, the High Priestess. I'm happy to see that. And then Ace of Wands, Page of Wands. All right, so what's going on here? First of all, keep in mind that I was trying to clarify the Hermit. So in this case, what I would say then is that the Hermit is clarified in both ways. One, in the way of whatever relationship you're having, because this King of Pentacles here is someone who is, having power over you. So in terms of that card being a relationship that you're having trouble with that's causing a lot of pain for you, if we look at this spread in terms of that, and then we'll look at it again in terms of money, and I'll show you my cardinal cross diagram here as we do this, okay? First, I just want you to get a really good look at these cards. So let's go through it. In terms of that relationship, there is a sense on your part of having worked really hard and wanting the fruits of that labor, and yet still feeling such lack about it. And that's really disconcerting and upsetting, because it's like, no, but I put a lot of work into that. And now I don't feel like I've gotten anything from it. Actually, I feel left out in the cold. And then the upset that naturally comes from that and from remembering the past. Okay, so that energy can keep you really stuck. And then let's move here. So these are also 2 cards of immobility. And then the Emperor. So we know that the Empress is already out. We know that his partner is already out up there, okay? So we know that there is a sense of that past coming together. There is that sense of past partners coming together. But this is also about how you view that person in your life. You view that person as your perfect match. An emperor for an empress. And having viewed that person as the perfect match, it's really hard for you to admit that they, left you out in the cold, or they really messed with you. And it will send you into this period of solitude and regret. Like, all this time, have I just been kidding myself? You'll think to yourself in this 4 of Swords energy. When you're meditative and being by yourself, which is how Cancers get when they feel like their feelings are hurt or they're being taken advantage of, this solace that you find in your alone time. In that time, you will start to struggle with this question of, was I left out in the cold? Is this a big deal? I didn't even see these cards here. I'm so sorry. So there's the 8 of Cups, the Lovers, and the 3 of Cups. Okay. So you're seeing this person as your perfect match, and therefore it not really working out is giving you this 4 of Swords energy of wanting to sit still and wanting to just really think. And then also the Cup energy, the water sign energy of just being really sad that it didn't work out, or that it's not working out, whether that be a financial situation or a love situation, or a parental situation or a sickness situation. Something that you're uncertain of, that hermit uncertainty, something you're uncertain of that kind of builds you up to this high and then, drops you. And then let's come up here to the Judgment card, the Queen of Cups, the 5 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, the High Priestess. So on first glance, what makes me really happy is that ultimately you come up as yourself, which is dope, which is great. But I'm also kind of liking the path that you take. You have this kind of awakening moment, which is the Judgment card, where you're really feeling like you've said the right things that needed to be said, that perhaps you haven't said in a long time because you've just been really, really, really afraid. Right? that if you said it really how it is, that you would be going against this nature. And it is difficult for you to act like this when your nature is so soft and so nurturing and all of that, right? So there is this kind of naming of truth, back away, I have to say what I have to say, I have to make my own boundaries, even though I'm this watery person that doesn't know where others start and I stop, but still I need to, blow this horn and back everyone up a little because there's no boundaries drawn around me and I'm just getting, lost in all this. And I'm feeling the need to just, cling to something. But then we find our power. Then we find our power. So how do these cards, let's talk about these three before I show you my cardinal cross chart. 8 of Cups, the Lovers, 3 of Cups. So finally, Cancer deciding that this love, if it is called love, if that's what this is being called or not, this is not love. This is Cancer realizing that, yeah, the cups may be made of gold, but they're empty. Leaving this situation so a new one can finally come in. So new celebration can finally come in. Right? So let me show you now how, and I'll still work with the cards. Actually, I want to work with these two as well, but I'll do that in relation to the other cards that are up, because once this starts, I would say that this has everything to do with a new opportunity with a fire sign. But let's see, I want to show you my chart first. So if you look here, you can see that what I have written down is the basic aspects of how the cardinal cross is affecting you, okay? So from the Cancer point of view, from that first house energy, in the purple, I'm such a nerd, I know. In the purple, here, let me bring you guys back up here. Hi. 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 All right. So in the first house here, this is the purple is my insight into what's going on. And this is the energy that the different points in the cardinal cross are bringing you. So for Cancer here, it is really about where you're going. And remember, we talked about that, this being one of the first cards up. So where are you going? Really making your mind up that sometimes where you're going has everything to do with what you're willing to leave behind, because you can't go anywhere until you get off this island. This emotionally isolated place that you've been in, probably because you think you love someone who's not, willing to meet you in this pursuit. Okay, and then, so the insight I have written down there is self-image overhaul. So really figuring out who's for you and who's not, and crafting your self-image again to be one that is geared towards spending time with and thinking about people that are reciprocating and that do love you and that show you they love you, and not just people that we've decided that we're going to be in love with, or not just people we've decided that we need, but overhauling the self-image in that, teaching ourselves again that it is really about how people treat us and what it says about how much value we have in their life, and not just seeing it and overlooking it, but seeing it and noting it and saying, oh, okay, that's how you feel about me. Okay, I got it. I'll remember that now. We do that. Cancerians do that, but they don't do it with the people they love. They do it with everyone else, and they can, they can set those boundaries. But when it comes to the people they love, they get caught up by it. And then they don't know where to draw those boundaries, And that's what is across from you right? That's what's across from you in that Cap energy. It is really about what others need from you, but what others need you to be as well. You know, because they can't just need from you. They want you to be a certain way because they want their needs met by a certain thing. And so it can be an enormous amount of pressure. And that pressure can exhibit itself as Cancer feeling really weighed down and also combative. Because when you guys reach that point where you feel too much pressure on you, then you do start to get combative. You do start to, you know, self-destruct a little and get a little aggressive. Sure, but who can blame you? And then the insight that I have written down there is boundaries drawn with power. Why? Because it's Cancer's looking across at the 7th, for your 7th house. Your 7th house is in Capricorn. Okay? So boundaries drawn with power. You see, this boundary that led you into this situation where you felt like you would put a lot in and instead you got so much less back, you actually got pushed out of the whole thing. That was not a boundary that was drawn with power. Feeling either of these cup emotions, this is the circularity here, feeling any of these, either of these, so one is a deep sense of regret and not being able to see anything else, and the other one is being distracted, almost here, on the verge of a deep sense of regret, you know, and being distracted. These are not situations where the boundaries were drawn with power, and they leave this kind of void in us when they don't work, because we let that line inch so close to us that when that situation went away, we realized that we didn't have any sort of a cushion, you know, to bump up against or fall down on, because we had given more than we had to give. And so now, you know, of course, this 5 of Pentacles lack energy sets in. But now the Cardinal Cross is saying, no, you get a new opportunity to communicate this stuff with a lot of love. You know, you get the new opportunity just because, and what you do with it is you communicate with a lot of peace and a lot of love the fact that you need some energetic space, that people can't just be feeding off of you. Okay? Now, the next thing addressed by the Cardinal Cross is, and this is really important, I think the Libra part is more important than anything this month for you guys. So take a look and then I'll read it to you. You can always like pause it and read it. So Libra, what do you need to feel grounded? Okay, that was the first thing. You know, this card is a card of grounding. This is a woman who has her role, has a partner, obviously has abundance, land, all the rest of it. Okay, she's chilling. What do you need to feel grounded? But Libra doesn't ask what you need to feel grounded in terms of material possession, in terms of, you know, status or anything like that. What Libra wants to know is, what makes you feel grounded in you? What gives you that unbothered, you know, sort of like, I know I'm the bomb, you know, Libra energy? Because that's what the extended readings will also be about. They'll be about exploring how you can use other energies that come up for you that month or come up for you in the reading, you know, depending on what cards come up. It's about adopting those energies into your life that as a Cancer or as another sign may be really alien to you, but it will really help you, especially this month. So this month, will the Libra energy totally help you? Well, yeah, because if you've ever noticed about Libras, they're very confident. They know how valuable they are. They know that regardless of what they look like. They know that they're beautiful. They don't know that they should be treated with a certain amount of respect. And that's why they're so hospitable and diplomatic with others, because they expect the same in return, right? So that sort of give and take of respect and value is something that Libra thrives on. And this month, this cross is activating that energy for you, and it's making you ask, from a very Libran point of view, you know, how are people valuing me, and how am I in return valuing myself, and where does this cycle start and where does this cycle end? Because I can tell you, you know, these people are not valuing themselves. No, they're not. This person has a lot of value for themselves, although it may not seem like a card of that, but that's someone who's decided that it's time. It's just time for your own sake to stop going around and around on this merry-go-round, right? What else? How valued are you in terms of your roots? So a lot of what Libra in the 4th house can be about is somehow reconciling within yourself the fact that your roots may not be all that great. Your roots may not be something that gave you a lot of power. Your roots may not be something that was positive. Your roots may be something that you don't even know about. It may be something that's completely alien to you because no one ever let you in on that information, or you don't have access to it. So this month, the Libra energy goes in and gives you access. It opens the door to your roots on an emotional level where you don't have to know. You'll feel it. You'll feel your ancestors, your descendants, all the people that have come before you and brought you to where you are. You'll feel, you know, in Hindi or Urdu we say kisi ke sar ke upar haath rakhna, right? You'll feel the weight of their hand on your head, like giving you blessings and taking care of you and pushing you along on this journey of self-fulfillment, you know, because look at where that Libra energy is going to take you. The Libra energy takes you to this Aries point, which is the next, you know, the 4th point in that cardinal sign cross. So what's Aries about? It says it there. So have a look and then we'll look at it. So the bottom one is talking about how you're valued by you and how you value your roots and how your roots inform who you are. And then we go up to Aries, which is about how valued are you by everybody else? How do others see you? You know, how do you come across to the people around you? What's your status? What's your name, you know? And I think that these are 3 very appropriate cards. And remember, the first one is already telling you, you know, how valued are you by society? You're its queen. You're its queen. You're its healer. You know, you're the mother creator. And so when you know that's what your roots are, look what I wrote as the insight. Completing the birth root circle. Coming all the way around, you know, to this place of ultimate fulfillment in terms of like who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know what my powers are. I know how big my heart is. I know how much compassion and love I have. And now you'll be able to feel it like surging through your veins from everyone that's come before you, because this thing is just, you know, it's opening doors. That's what it does. There's a bunch of doors open. So then we go to how valued are you by society when we go up to Aries. And then the insight that I have written down there is affected by value of self. And the Aries energy for you is in the 10th house. So, affected by values of self. Well, that makes sense, right? How others value you and how others see you, your status, your reputation, is always going to be dependent on how you see yourself. One only mirrors the other, okay? So it's so positive that you're getting these really positive cards that relate to your sign, because this is the way you will be seeing yourself. You'll be seeing yourself in such a positive way. Even if things aren't working out, even if the situation is dragging, even if you're still in that hangman phase, you will still be feeling yourself on a really like fundamental level where you're like, no, I'm just a good person. I'm nurturing. I'm loving. Look at how much I love the people around me. Look at how much they're prospering in part due to my energy. And that will naturally propel you, that sense of feeling like you are valuing yourself, and then that hitting that Aries point of other people reflecting that back to you and valuing you. When you have such powerful energies coming together, it of course makes sense that it becomes a time to fall in love and to celebrate. Of course it does. Of course it does. Now, this is also, that Gemini energy. This is that Gemini energy that's always kind of, around you. Either it's grating on your nerves in some way, or it's pushing you forward when you're not ready to go. But sometimes we get lucky and it works with us, and we can't, because the cusps can be so difficult, like the extended reading is also so good for the cusps because it goes into so much more detail. And you get a rounder picture depending on what side you're on. If you're a cusp, I would suggest you watch the normal readings for both the signs that you're on the cusp of, figure out which one resonates more, and then watch the extended reading for that one. That's what I would do, right? So in terms of love and falling in love, this Gemini energy is really coming in here to be like, Cancer can be a little bit of a serious sign. I was just thinking about this yesterday. Like, Cancer can be a bit, serious. Like, I think part of the reason that I really like Heems's music is because most of the time when he's saying stuff, he means it. He's not just saying it just to like be something he's not. He means it. Like if he's talking about smoking blunts on Queens Boulevard, it's because he smokes blunts on Queens Boulevard. Like, it's very, Cancers are so real that they can appear a bit serious. And that's such a backlash to the sign right before them, which is Gemini, which can be so childish and so childlike and so immature and so not nurturing, and can say many things that they don't mean at all. Whereas Cancer is like, I'm not even going to say it if I don't mean it. I'll just keep it to myself. So, but now when it comes to love, when it comes to celebrating, when it comes to new opportunities, when it comes to relaying and communicating messages of love and flirting and, facilitating this happening, then that Gemini energy really comes into use for you. It can be a place of power for you to just, lighten up a little bit. I think no matter what the situation is, it's always beneficial for a Cancer to hear that I promise you it's not going to seem this bad in a little while. Yes, at first it irks you guys, but there is that tiny speck of you that's not on the emotional roller coaster that's like a cardinal sign and is like, oh no, she's right. It's not going to be this bad the whole time. Let me try to regroup. And it may be hard to get back on that message, especially this month where you have, if you have issues in any of these places, if you have an issue with your sense of self, if you have an issue with how other people view you, if you have an issue drawing boundaries with people, if you have an issue with how you physically look right now, and so your self-image is way off, if you have issues in any of these areas, I'm sorry to tell you, but the cardinal energy will exacerbate it. It will make it, it will make it worse because it wants to bring it out. It wants you to look at it. It wants you to shine light on it. And that's why I'm so happy that the High Priestess is out, because, what it's saying is, it's like, don't worry, everything is okay. Everything is still okay. We're going to figure this out. But it is a point of enormous, enormous change and enormous energy for you. And that can hurt. it can hurt to overall your self-image. It can hurt to come up against truths about people that you're in relationships with where it's just not working anymore. It can hurt to know that there are people in your life who constantly step over your boundaries and take advantage of the fact that you're too gentle and quiet about your own needs to say so. It can hurt to then have this reputation from your externality of being a pushover or being moody or being weak when you're nothing like that, but because of how you're being treated and how you're allowing yourself to be treated because of how you feel. You see, it's so intertwined that once you start looking at this and once you start feeling your way through this month, knowing all this and having all this in your head, you'll clearly see, oh, right, this is that Aries energy. Oh, right, this is that, Cancer energy. This is the Capricorn energy. This is the Libra energy. And it will give you a sense of calm, right? Like an Aries is so different from you guys, so different. But can you take on Aries energy when it comes to your 10th house? Well, yeah, you've got to. Aries is in your 10th house. So this is about how you're valued by society. So what would be the Aries way of handling that? Well, the Aries way of handling how society views them is to say, who gives a fuck? I'm the best. I'm going to do whatever I want, because I'm the best, just turn into DJ Khaled, and Cancers can have that too. Cancers like, I won't change, I'm dope. That's a Heem's quote. Like, no, I won't change, I'm dope. Like, that should be and needs to be embraced this month. When you feel yourself looking around and starting to get down on yourself and thinking, oh, well, society doesn't view me the way I wanted, or I've reached this milestone or that milestone and I'm not where I wanted to be, that's where that Aries energy needs to kick in for you, and you need to tap that and go, no, F it, I'm the best. We the best, and you pick yourself up out of that hole, because that energy, it doesn't want you to get stuck in remorse about whatever is happening. It wants you to push through, cardinal cross, doing, getting it done, pushing through all of that, In the same way, when you're doing your self-image overhaul, don't be the dualistic Cancer that you are. Be the Cancer that you would be with somebody else. Be loving and kind through the process. Be soft with yourself. Cancers can be so soft with other people, and then they reserve their claws for themselves. And it's like, no, stop. Like, don't cut yourself. Like, your self-image overhaul shouldn't be you beating yourself up for all the people that you've let in that you shouldn't, the people who took you off your track that you shouldn't have let happen, the people who brought you to the 10 of Swords and the 9 of Swords and keep bringing you around in that circle. That's not what self-image overhaul is about. You don't be that side of Cancer. Be the side that you show everyone else. Be the compassionate, healing, maternal, be the cosmic mother to yourself. And let your self-image heal. It's been a hard year. It's been a hard, like, once around the sun. I get it. And once that self-image overhaul is being done with love, and the brain and the body know that it's being gently nudged towards a more healthy self-image, then where you're going and this energy becomes a lot more clear. There's a lot more power behind that once you feel better. Once you feel better about you, right? In the same way, of course, it's going to be really hurtful to redraw boundaries with people. Of course, Cancer's not the best at modulated discussion. You guys can be real calm, and then, the temper comes out, and it's like, it's a water sign temper. It can be a nasty temper. And so it can be hard for you guys to talk about things like boundaries, because conversations like that is what trigger you, right? Because they're conversations about feelings and connections with other people. Those are the conversations that trigger you, but they're also the conversations where you have the most difficulty saying what you need to say. you know, which is, this is not good for me, or you're asking too much, or I really love you and I like being around you and I love being your friend, but like you're robbing me of energy and I don't know what to do. Those are very uncomfortable, kind of embarrassing talks for a Cancer to have. Kind of like the way that, you know, Libra doesn't want to talk about money, you know, or the way Gemini really doesn't want to talk that much about feelings. Like everyone has that thing that makes them kind of uncomfortable. And I think for Cancers, it's when you need to push someone back a little and say, yo, Holmes, you're taking too much from me. That can be really hard for you. So then we tap into this Capricorn energy. Then you tap into that Capricorn that's like, that's cool that you want that, but let's be real for a second. You're going to be 2 hours late. I'm going to be pissed off, and I'd rather not do that because I've noticed that you don't really care about how my time or how long it takes me to get somewhere. Or, you know, Capricorns are just say shit to you the way it is, and you're like, what? And, you know, and they're often like, they give you that look like, what, did you think I was going to lie to make you feel better? You know? Adopt that energy, even though it's foreign to you. This is what astrology can be so beneficial for, is to, you know, ultimately we want to integrate all the best qualities of every sign into ourselves. That's what we want. We want to be a really well-rounded person who can pick and choose all the different benefits of looking at the world through a certain lens and compile them into one master lens, okay? And that's how you can pick and choose and gain power and give power away, because you're learning all these different ways to interact with your environment. That's really what it is. So when it comes to setting these boundaries where you will be tested this month, where people will take advantage, people will try to drain you, and you'll be in that position where you'll be like, damn, this is what she was talking about. Yes, and in that moment, you need that Capricorn energy. You know, watch the Cap reading. Like, you'll see, you read the Cap comments, like, you'll see right away the common thread that runs through the Capricorn personality, and that is direct truth. Yo, it's very like, I'd rather kiss you, you know, I'd rather slap you with the truth than kiss you with a lie. Like, I'm not going to spare your feelings here, dude. This that's going on, it sucks. I don't want to do this. You know, and Capricorns can be very like, let the chips fall where they may, because they have very high self-esteem. Whatever happens, I'll be able to handle it, right? That brings us to that Aries Libra back and forth, right? That you're also going to be doing. Those are two enormously powerful signs to tap into. You're so lucky to be able to tap into that Aries energy right now, because most times it is not available to you. And it may feel a bit strange. It may feel like it's coming into your muscles, like you're more wiry. Because Aries are wiry. They're muscular. They're teenagers. They're full of energy. They're, you know, do. Like, they don't have time, you know, and they're like that about every aspect of their life. And when they get something, they just go with it, and they don't think, and they certainly don't overthink, and they don't overfeel. They have an enormous amount of feeling, but not emotion, passion, difference, right? You can harness that when it comes to the way your community and your externality, your society is responding to you. You can adopt that Aries energy of, you guys obviously value me because I value me, and I value me because of all that I do and all that I get done and all that I'm accomplishing. So are we all clear here? You know, that is not natural to a Cancer, but it is something that you will feel this month, and you may feel yourself being like, damn, I'm being really cocky. That's Aries energy, and it's being given to you as armor. Remember, Aries is the god of war. He has armor on. He's always wearing his armor, right? So it will give you that armor in dealing with the external world. So this month, when people are like, oh, well, shouldn't you be doing this by now? Or shouldn't you have this by now? Or what kind of job are you still working? Or are you still right? Whenever someone starts doing this peanut gallery bullshit with you, you'll be able to tap, or you can now tap into that Aries energy, which, it did come up in your reading. That's the Aries card. That's the energy of, like, literally, I'm the best. Like, why are we even having this conversation? Like, I don't even understand. Why is this even a thing? I'm the best. We all know this already, and it's maybe you're laughing, like it can be a little laughable, but trust me when I tell you, Aries gets a lot done by being this way. And this month you'll be, since you'll have the energy, channel it properly, use it, be bold. If you have an idea, if you have something that you think would really work out there in the world, do something with it. This is the time where that Aries energy is available to you, and you've got that Libra push. You've got I just realized that my North Node is in Libra. Like, Libra has that ability to really steal your insides up, like steal you, and say, like, listen, we gotta do this now. We got to make it happen. And when Libra makes up its mind, we got to make this happen. It happens. And for you, this energy is sitting in a part of your chart where there is always tension for Cancer. There is this, like, no matter how much you know about yourself, no matter how much you know about your family, no matter how much you are into your roots or into your family tree or your lineage, there is always this sense of remorse on Cancer's part to not have had more of a connection with more of their family and more of their blood, because it's life for you. It's what you love so much. It's what you live for. And I think what the Cardinal Cross will do for you this month is it will give you that sense of fulfillment, of knowing that what you long for most, that familial connection, as far back as, like, your roots and where you come from, all of that, it yearns for you and loves you and gives to you just as much as you are wishing to give to it. And I think that's always what Libra is doing. Try to find within yourself, when you're feeling like you are rootless, when you don't feel grounded, try to understand that you're going like this because of the Libra energy right now. Whenever in your life you start to feel like you are not grounded in how much you value yourself, remember that Libra is in your 4th house. Remember that Libra does do this, just like the waves do this, okay? So you've got a lot of this that goes on, okay? So you've got to be able to get some perspective on the situation, pull back and say, this is that Libra scales, going up and down. Let me recalibrate and let me find my value in myself and work outward again. Okay? Let me calm myself, like we talked about last month. Either be the storm or be the eye of the storm. This will help you maintain being the eye of the storm, because the storm is not over. The rest of this year is like an electromagnetic storm of creative energy for you. That's what this, lightning rod of manifestation is about. You've got love. You've got the World card supporting you. You've got, the 6 of Cups, your kind of love, on the horizon, followed by enormous amounts of confusion, followed by speed. This sounds like a Cancer's life, doesn't it? Followed by speed, and then boom, right into that Libra card. It is enormously powerful for you right now. All you've got to do is pick any of these directions to go in. Or what I would suggest is do it all. Do it all. Every time you come across one of these energies, be like, yep, okay, I got it. That's the move there. That's the move there. That's the move with this person who's taking too much. Have that Cap energy. That's what I'm doing to myself right now. I need to be more of a Cancer with myself and be more, and you will find that July can be so pleasant in terms of an idea coming to fruition, a love reconciling within itself, you and a lover reconciling the relationship, or just as easily you realizing that relationship was never good enough for you. Never good enough for you, and you've just been deluded because you chose to love that person. and you've just been deluding yourself for, in some cases, years. It is possible under this particular placement for these things to come up. It is. But ultimately, what I see here, and what any astrologer or reader would say about July for you, is that July is about power. Which is funny, right? Because 50 Cent's show is called Power, and he's a Cancer. I don't know why I make these like connections in my, I have no idea. But it's about power. It's about harnessing of power. Why? Because like I said, there's an electromagnetic storm coming. Anyone who's built the kites and built the hot air balloons and built the airplanes and everything, they're going to get up there in that storm and they're going to have a great time with it. And this is the time to use that power to build all those metaphysical tools. And you have all the fuel you need for that fire. All of it. It's all there for you. You just need to constantly watch that Libra energy. I feel it. I know it. It's this unbalance, and you guys are so like, oh God, what's happening to me? That's Libra. That's that rationality balancing you out, where Cancer's like, ow, that really hurts, right? But it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Just like Aries will pull you a little bit outside of your comfort zone and put you in front of people and make you say your ideas. And, you know, the Cancer is so gentle that way, and it'll be like, oh, this is freaking me out. Aries, we the best, you know, like, so I hope you guys enjoyed that extended reading. I'm kind of really excited for this. I like how that went, actually, and I'm so glad that yours is just, you know, you don't have to pay for it just because it's your birthday. Like, that's such a nice, like, gift, you know? Like a nice surprise or whatever. I don't know how to put it. It's just, I like it. I like that it was you guys. Let me put it that way. I like that it was you guys that we tried this out on. What else? So, I will be having a like meet and greet / block party / you know, Quietest revolution kind of, you know, gathering in Bushwick this summer. But all the details for that and the day and the times and the address and everything, that's all going to be on the Strange Ramblings page. It's not going to be here. So if you guys are into it, please go follow that page or subscribe to that page, because I'm not sure how else you'll get the information, because I feel like this is an enormous group of people, and I would just like for it to be a bit more tapered down. And the Strange Ramblings community is a group of people who appreciate this side of what I do, but also understand that I'm human and I have like likes and dislikes, and I have opinions on other things like politics and, you know, women's rights and blah, blah, blah. And so I feel like if you want to like hang with me or, you know, do like the whole like socializing thing with me, it'll probably be easier for us to get along if you're aware of that side of me. So all the information that has to do with meet and greets and with the block party will all be there, and I'll link that below. And for the other signs, the video is going to be like where I said it was going to be cut off, and then the other part of the video you can go and access on another platform, and, you know, like, I don't know, PayPal or whatever, and you'll be able to see it. So, happy birthday again. I'm so sorry I didn't do the reading yesterday. I had the worst allergies from horseback riding. It was horrible, but I'm totally fine now, as you can see. But yesterday it was like bad. And I hope you guys have a really good month. It's always a blessing when Cancer season comes along, because we yearn for the ocean, we yearn for the summer, we yearn for the height of life. I don't even know why I'm getting emotional. You know, I said we yearn for the ocean and I got emotional. That is like the most Cancer rising thing ever. Like, we yearn for the mystery and the magic of life, and that's what you guys represent. So when people start giving you shit and making you feel bad for being the mysterious, beautiful life that you are, you know, just explain to them that they just don't get it. Magic isn't easy, but it's always worth it. I love you guys so much. But you know that already. I'll see you next month.